Ladies and gentlemen, life doesn't always hand us the script we expected. People may let you down, the job might fall through, the doctor's report wasn't what you hoped for. But hear me today, you may not be able to choose the situation, but you can choose your response. And the way you respond will set the course for your future. When someone offends you, it's easy to get upset, to carry bitterness, to replay the offense over and over. But that's not the right way to respond. That's the way to stay stuck. That's the way to let them win. The right way to respond is to say, I'm not going to give this offense power over my peace. I'm not going to let a temporary storm steal my permanent joy. Maybe someone criticized you. Maybe life knocked the wind out of you. Don't respond with anger. Don't respond by shrinking back. Respond with faith. Respond by saying, this may have surprised me, but it didn't surprise God. I know He's still in control. I know this setback is just a setup for something greater. When things don't go your way, don't respond by complaining. Respond by declaring, I am blessed, I am favored, I am equipped, I am strong. Something good is coming my way. Friends, the enemy doesn't have to destroy you if he can just get you to respond the wrong way. He knows you'll destroy your own destiny. But when you rise above the offense, when you respond with grace, when you choose peace over panic, when you respond like a champion, then you're stepping into the fullness of what was always meant for you. Let me remind you, how you respond is your responsibility. You can't control other people. You can't stop every challenge, but you can choose your attitude. You can choose your words. You can choose to believe when it's easier to give up. So the next time life throws something unexpected, take a moment, take a breath and say, I'm going to respond the right way. I'm going to respond with courage. I'm going to respond with integrity. I'm going to respond with hope. Because your response is not just about right now, it's about what you're stepping into next. And I believe your next chapter is brighter and better and more blessed than anything you've seen before. You may not always be able to choose what comes your way, but you can always choose how you respond. That choice, how you handle the moments life throws at you, has the power to shape your path. Your response isn't just a reaction to what happened. It's a decision about where you're headed. It's not the event that defines you, it's your answer to it. That answer determines your direction. Life is full of things we don't expect. A friend walks away. A door that looked promising suddenly closes. You work hard and still get overlooked. These things hurt. They disappoint. They can shake your confidence, but they don't have to stop your purpose. They don't get to write the last chapter. What decides where you go next is not what happened, but how you choose to respond. Too many people live stuck not because of what happened to them, but because of the way they responded. They responded with bitterness. They responded with self-pity. They responded by giving up. And slowly, without realizing it, that response shifted the direction of their life. It didn't happen all at once. It was one reaction, one attitude, one decision at a time. That's why it's so important to pay attention to your response. You see, you can have all the potential in the world. You can be talented, gifted, called, favored, but if your response is off, it can delay or even detour your destiny. A wrong response can cloud your vision. It can shrink your confidence. It can make you settle in places you were only meant to pass through. But here's the good news. The right response can launch you forward. The right response can unlock blessings, open new doors, and take you further than you ever imagined. When you respond with faith instead of fear, when you respond with peace instead of panic, when you respond with forgiveness instead of bitterness, you're setting your course for greater things. Let's say someone lies about you. They spread rumors. It hurts. It's not fair. But you have a choice. You can respond by trying to get it even, by being consumed with anger, or you can respond by taking the high road, knowing that your value doesn't come from people. It comes from something deeper. When you choose to stay calm, to stay kind, to stay grounded, that response keeps your heart clean, and a clean heart keeps your life moving forward. Or maybe you didn't get the promotion. Someone else was chosen. It's easy to feel discouraged, to think it's never going to happen. But how you respond in that moment matters more than you know. If you respond with a sour attitude, if you let jealousy take root, you'll block what's coming next. But if you respond by staying excellent, by being happy for others, by giving your best even when you feel overlooked, then you're preparing yourself for the next opportunity. That response is saying, I may not see it yet, but I trust that something better is coming. Every time life gives you a challenge, it also gives you a chance to grow, a chance to rise, a chance to become better. But that chance is only unlocked through the way you respond. If you respond with fear, you'll shrink. If you respond with strength, you'll rise. It's not always about doing something big. Sometimes the most powerful response is simply not quitting, just showing up with the right spirit, just choosing to believe when you could be bitter, just keeping your peace when everything's trying to steal it. That quiet strength, that inner response that speaks volumes, and it steers your direction little by little toward breakthrough. Some of the most successful, joyful, peaceful people didn't get there because everything went right. They got there because they responded right when things went wrong. They chose gratitude over complaining. They chose to let go when they could have held a grudge. They chose to believe again after a disappointment. Their direction changed because their response was strong. Even in the quiet moments when no one else sees it, how you respond matters. That response in the private, when you're tempted to give up but you whisper, "I'll keep going," that's powerful. That kind of response builds endurance, it builds faith, and it builds a future you'll be proud of. So today, ask yourself, how am I responding to life? Am I letting circumstances steer me? Or am I steering my life through my responses? It doesn't mean you won't feel the hurt. It doesn't mean you won't get tired. It doesn't mean you'll always feel strong. But it does mean that even when life feels uncertain, you still have the power to choose. And every time you choose wisely, you're making a turn toward peace, toward joy, toward your best. Maybe you've responded the wrong way in the past. That's okay. Don't beat yourself up. You're not stuck. You can always change course. A new response today creates a new direction tomorrow. You're not too far off. You haven't missed too much. It's not too late. Just start choosing the response that lifts you higher. Choose forgiveness. Choose patience. Choose to believe again. Choose to smile when it's easier to frown. Choose to keep walking when it's easier to sit down, because your response is a compass. And when it's pointed in the right direction, no storm, no setback, no detour can stop you from arriving at your destiny. So keep your heart right. Keep your attitude in check. Stay hopeful. Stay kind. Keep choosing strength over stress, trust over trouble, and grace over grudges. Because the way you respond, that's what's shaping the life you're building. And I believe it's leading you to a place more blessed, more beautiful, and more abundant than you've ever imagined. We all have moments when life shakes us, moments when the news catches us off guard, when people let us down, when something happens that stirs up our emotions. And in those moments, it's natural to feel hurt, to feel angry, to feel like saying something, doing something, or shutting down completely. But here's the thing, just because we feel something doesn't mean we have to act on it. Reacting out of emotion is easy. It's immediate, it's impulsive. But it's often not helpful, and sometimes it can cause more damage than the situation itself. Wisdom, on the other hand, takes a step back. Wisdom listens before it speaks. Wisdom doesn't rush in, it reflects. And when we respond out of wisdom, instead of reacting out of emotion, we protect our peace, preserve our relationships, and stay on course toward our purpose. There's a story behind every emotion we feel. Maybe someone didn't treat you the way they should have. Maybe your plans didn't work out. Maybe you're tired, stressed, or feeling unappreciated. Those emotions are real. They're valid. But they don't always tell the whole truth. Sometimes your emotions are based on a temporary situation. Sometimes they're tied to your past. Sometimes they come from fear or insecurity. That's why it's dangerous. Emotions have the final say. You've probably seen what happens when people let emotions run the show. One word spoken in anger can destroy a relationship that took years to build. One reaction based on fear can lead to a missed opportunity. One emotional decision can bring regret that lingers for years. That's the cost of reacting without thinking. But here's the good news, you don't have to live that way. You can train yourself to respond out of a deeper place. You can pause before you speak. You can wait before you act. You can ask yourself, is this how I want to handle it? Is this going to help or hurt? Is this coming from wisdom or just from a feeling? That pause may be small, but it's powerful. It gives you space to breathe, space to pray, space to let the noise settle so you can hear the whisper of wisdom. And in that space, you gain clarity. You gain strength. You take back control from your emotions. Sometimes people will say things that hit you the wrong way. They may be rude. They may misunderstand you. They may even try to provoke you. Don't take the bait. Don't react just because they want a reaction. If they throw you a match, you don't have to light the fire. Let it fall. Keep your peace. Not every comment deserves your energy. Not every insult requires your explanation. That's responding with wisdom. It's not weakness, it's strength under control. It's choosing to walk away from a fight that's not worth your future. It's knowing that your destiny is too important to be delayed by a distraction. There are moments when you'll feel overwhelmed by grief, by pressure, by prospective circumstances. In those moments, your emotions may scream for attention. They may push you to act quickly, to speak harshly, to give up. But if you can hold steady, if you can give yourself just a little time, you'll find that wisdom has something else to say. Wisdom says, you're not alone. Wisdom says, this will pass. Wisdom says, you're stronger than you think. Wisdom says, don't make a permanent decision in a temporary storm. You don't have to respond to everything immediately. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all, just staying calm, staying kind, and keeping your eyes on the bigger picture. When you respond out of wisdom, you protect your joy. You guard your peace. You stay in position for the good things that are ahead. And you begin to live from a place of purpose instead of pressure. Even in relationships, wisdom is key. Sometimes people are going through things you don't know about. Their bad attitude isn't really about you. Their silence doesn't mean they don't care. Their reaction may come from pain they haven't healed from. If you respond emotionally, you'll make it about you. But if you respond with wisdom, you'll give grace. You'll stay grounded. You'll keep your connection strong. And when it comes to your goals, your calling, your future, don't let emotions dictate your decisions. You may feel like giving up because it's hard. You may feel like you're not seeing results. But wisdom says, keep going, it's not over. Your time is coming. Emotions are like waves, they rise, they fall, they change with the weather. But wisdom is the anchor that holds you steady. If you've reacted out of emotion before, don't be discouraged. We all have. We've all said things we didn't mean. We've all made choices we wish we could take back. But the beautiful thing is you can grow. You can learn. You can decide from this moment on, I'm going to be more mindful. I'm going to be more intentional. I'm not going to let my feelings run my life. You're not a slave to your emotions. You're stronger than your temper. You're bigger than your fear. You have the power to pause, the power to choose, the power to respond in a way that honors who you truly are. So the next time your emotions rise up, take a breath, step back. Let wisdom speak louder. Let peace guide you. Let grace fill your heart. Because when you respond out of wisdom, you're not just avoiding problems, you're building a better future. And here's the beautiful part. Every wise response makes you stronger. Every time you hold your tongue, every time you choose kindness, every time you stay calm in chaos, you're growing. You're becoming who you were created to be. So stay steady. Stay grounded. Don't let temporary emotions decide permanent outcomes. The strength you need is already in you. The wisdom is already in you. Just take a moment, take a breath, and let it lead. Life has a way of testing us. It brings moments we didn't see coming, things that shake us, things that make us question what's ahead. The path looks uncertain. The future feels unfamiliar. And it's in those moments that a quiet voice rises inside us. One voice says, what if it doesn't work out? Another voice says, what if it does? One voice says, you're not strong enough. The other says, you've made it this far. You're stronger than you think. These two voices are always speaking. One is fear, the other is faith. Every day we are given a choice. A choice not based on what we see, but on what we believe. Not based on how we feel, but on what we hold on to deep inside. And that choice is this: will I lean into fear or will I stand in faith? Fear wants to keep you where you are. It wants to whisper worst case scenarios. It wants to play the what if game until your confidence is gone. Fear will tell you it's too risky, too late, too far gone. It will remind you of every failure, every disappointment, every time it didn't work out. But faith speaks a different language. Faith says you're not alone. Faith says there's a plan. Faith says something greater is working behind the scenes. Faith doesn't deny the reality, but it refuses to be defined by it. It looks at the same mountain and says, this can be moved. Some people think faith means you don't feel afraid, but that's not true. Faith doesn't always silence fear, but it refuses to let fear have the final word. It's standing tall even when your knees are shaking. It's moving forward even when you don't have all the answers. It's believing that there's a light, even while you're still walking through the shadows. Think about all the moments in your life when you didn't know how things would turn out. Maybe it was a medical situation, a job loss, a broken relationship, or a season of deep waiting. At the time, it felt like the end, but somehow you made it through. Doors opened. Strength came. Peace showed up when you needed it most. That wasn't fear carrying you, that was faith. Even when you didn't realize there's something within you believe, I can keep going. Faith is not a feeling. It's a posture, it's a decision. It says, even though I don't understand, I'm going to trust anyway. It says, I've seen enough in my past to believe for what's ahead. It says, this storm may be strong, but I know what I'm anchored to. Fear magnifies the problem. Faith magnifies the possibility. Fear shrinks your vision. Faith expands it. Fear asks, what if I fall? Faith answers, but what if you fly? You weren't created to live small, stressed, and worried. You were created with purpose, with strength, with resilience. That's why fear feels so heavy, because it's not yours to carry. You were designed to rise above it. And you rise by choosing what you focus on. When you choose to focus on fear, your problems look bigger. But when you focus on faith, something shifts. You stop looking at what you lack and start seeing what's possible. You stop feeding the doubt and start feeding the hope. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing to believe that reality is not the full story. There is always more happening than what we can see. Behind the closed door, something better may be forming. Behind the delay, something deeper may be developing. Behind the detour, a better direction may be unfolding. Sometimes fear shows up because we're stepping into something new. That's a sign of growth. It's okay to feel nervous, but don't let it stop you. Step in it anyway. Faith is not about comfort, it's about courage. Every big dream, every breakthrough, every new chapter starts with someone choosing to believe when it was easier to doubt. Fear may say, you're not qualified. Faith says, you are chosen. Fear may say, you're going to fail. Faith says, you're about to grow. Fear says, stay safe. Faith says, step forward. Maybe right now you're in a season that feels uncertain. You're facing something you didn't plan for. You don't have all the answers. That's okay. You don't need to know how everything will work out. You just need to believe that it will. Choosing faith over fear doesn't mean you won't ever feel afraid. It means you don't let fear control the story. It means you take the next step, even if you're not sure where it leads. It means you wake up every morning and say, I don't know what today holds, but I believe I'm being held by something greater. Even when the outcome is unknown, your peace doesn't have to be. Peace doesn't come from knowing every detail. It comes from knowing that you're not walking alone. That's where faith lives, in the space between the questions and the answers. In the tension between now and not yet. In the place where you say, I'm choosing to trust because fear has led me in circles long enough. And here's what's beautiful: every time you choose faith, even in the smallest way, you grow. You get stronger. You rise a little higher. You move a little further. And over time, those small choices build a life that's rooted, not shaken. A life that stands tall when storms come. A life that shines with hope even in the darkest seasons. So when fear knocks, don't open the door. Answer with faith. Speak truth. Remind yourself of how far you've come. Hold on to what's steady. Look ahead with expectation. You may not see the full path yet, but if you keep choosing faith step by step, day by day, you'll find yourself in places you once only dreamed of. Doors will open. Joy will return. Strength will rise, and fear, it'll be left behind, wondering why it ever had a hold on someone like you. Because you were never meant to be ruled by fear. You were meant to walk in peace, to stand in strength, and to live with hope. And when you choose faith over fear, you step into the life you were always meant to live. One of the greatest challenges we face in life is not just dealing with what happens to us, but dealing with how we carry it. It's easy to carry offense. Someone said something that hurt you. They overlooked you. They criticized you unfairly. Maybe they walked away without an explanation. And the truth is, it wasn't right. It wasn't fair. But holding on to the offense doesn't hurt them, it hurts you. Offense is heavy. It weighs down your spirit. It clouds your thoughts. It steals your joy. But peace? Peace is light. It lifts you. It calms your mind. It gives you the strength to walk through difficult seasons without becoming bitter. And here's the truth: you can't hold on to both. You have to make a choice. Will I hold on to what they did to me, or will I hold on to the peace that's available to me? We all have opportunities to get offended. Sometimes it's big, someone betrayed you. Sometimes it's small, look, a tone, a misunderstanding. But whether it's big or small, if you don't deal with it, it builds up. Offense is like a seed. If you let it stay in your heart, it grows roots. It starts to affect how you see people. It poisons relationships. It keeps you guarded, defensive, easily triggered. And before long, you're not just carrying the offense, you're living from it. That's why letting go is not weakness, it's wisdom. It doesn't mean what they did was okay. It means you've decided to stop letting it control your mood, your mind, your direction. It means you've chosen to protect your peace, your joy, your future. Some people go through life always looking for something to be upset about. They read between the lines. They replay conversations. They assume the worst. And the more they look for offense, the more they find it. But that's not the life you were created for. You weren't made to live tense and on edge. You weren't made to walk around carrying the weight of what people said or did. You were created for peace, for freedom, for joy. And peace doesn't come from everyone treating you so nice. It comes from making a decision inside. I'm not going to let this get in me. I'm not going to let it steal my day. I'm not going to carry this any longer. Sometimes a person who hurt you won't say sorry. They may not even realize what they did. But the good news is you don't need an apology to be free. You don't need them to change for you to move on. Your healing is not in their hands. It's in yours. When you choose to let go of offense, you take back your power. You say, I may not control what happened, but I do control what stays in my heart. And in that moment, you're doing something powerful. You're making room for peace to move in. Think about it. What's the cost of carrying offense? How many days have been lost replaying that argument? How many opportunities have passed by because you were stuck in resentment? How much joy has been delayed simply because of something you're holding on to that you were never meant to carry? Letting go doesn't mean you forget. It doesn't mean you ignore your feelings. It means you acknowledge the pain but choose not to build your identity around it. You say, this hurt, but it won't define me. This happened, but it won't hold me. And with that, you release it. It's not always easy. Sometimes offense feels justified. You were right. They were wrong. You didn't deserve it. But holding on to offense won't make it right. It'll just make you heavy. And your peace is too valuable to trade for a grudge. Peace is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. It allows you to walk through challenges with grace. It allows you to sit in silence and feel calm. It gives you clarity, joy, and strength that offense can never offer. Some people won't understand how you can stay calm after what they did. They'll wonder why you didn't react, why you didn't retaliate. But that's the power of peace. It doesn't need to prove anything. It just shines. It just stays still when everything around it is shaky. And here's something even more beautiful. When you let go of offense, you make room for new relationships, new opportunities, new levels of joy. Some blessings are delayed not because you're unqualified, but because your heart is too full of the old to receive the new. Offense closes doors. Peace opens them. If you've been carrying offense for a long time, it might feel like it's part of who you are now. But I want you to know it's not too late to let it go. It's not too late to choose peace. You may have every reason to be bitter, but bitterness doesn't serve you. It only blocks you. And you deserve better. Maybe you're thinking, but they keep doing it. They keep saying hurtful things. That's when you put boundaries in place. That's when you protect your space. But don't let their actions keep planting seeds in your heart. You can love from a distance. You can forgive without reconnecting. You can move on and still have peace. Letting go is not a one-time event. It's a daily choice. Some days the old feelings try to come back. That's when you say, no, I've released this. I've given this up. I'm not picking it back up again. Keep choosing peace. Keep choosing healing. Over time, the wound closes, the weight lifts, and joy returns. You were not created to carry offense. You were created to carry light, to carry love, to carry peace. And when you let go of what's been weighing you down, you rise, you smile again, you dream again. You open your heart to all the beauty still ahead. So today, make the decision, I'm letting it go. I'm releasing the words, the actions of betrayal. I'm done carrying it. I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing freedom. I'm choosing to live the life I was created for, light, joyful, full of grace. Because peace looks better on you than offense ever will. It's easy to treat people right when they treat you right. It's easy to be kind when others are kind. It's easy to show respect when you're being respected. But the real test of character isn't how you act when everything's going your way. It's how you respond when you're not being treated the way you deserve. That's where excellence is born, not in comfort, but in the challenge. Not in approval, but in adversity. We've all had moments when someone was rude, dismissive, ungrateful. They ignored your efforts. They took your kindness for granted. Maybe they criticized you, misunderstood your heart, or gave you a cold shoulder when all you did was show love. The natural reaction is to pull back, to say, if they're going to act like that, then I'm done trying. That's the easy route. But you weren't created for average, you were created for excellence. Excellence says, I'm going to give my best no matter how others treat me. It says, I'm going to stay kind, even if they're cold. I'm going to stay generous, even if they're ungrateful. I'm going to stay respectful, even if they don't deserve it. Not because they earned it, but because that's who you are. When you live with excellence, you don't let other people set the tone for your day, you set it. You don't mirror their behavior, you rise above it. You understand that how you respond says more about you than it does about them. Too often we let other people pull us out of character. We think they're going to be difficult. I'll be difficult right back. But when you do that, you're giving away your power. You're letting their lack pull you down to their level. And that's not who you are. You're not reactionary, you're intentional. You're not led by emotions, you're led by values. You don't let the atmosphere around you change your spirit. You let your spirit change the atmosphere. Excellence is not about perfection. It's about purpose. It's about deciding in advance, no matter what comes my way today, I'm going to respond in a way I can be proud of. It's walking away from the conversation knowing you stayed true to your character. It's showing up with integrity, even when no one is clapping for you. It's doing the right thing, even when it goes unnoticed. When you live like that, people take notice. It may not be right away, but in time, excellence speaks. Your consistency, your grace, your poise, it begins to stand out. And more importantly, it begins to open doors. Excellence creates favor. It attracts opportunity. It builds a reputation that can't be bought. Think about it. Anyone can be average. Anyone can say, well, they don't respect me, so why should I respect them? But that's not who you are. You were created to stand out. You were made to rise above. The higher you go in life, the more grace you'll need. And the way to grow that grace is by choosing excellence when it's hardest. There will always be people who don't appreciate what you bring. That's not your concern. Your job isn't to change them, it's to stay true to who you've been called to be. Keep your heart soft. Keep your attitude right. Keep your standards high. You may think they don't deserve my kindness. But your kindness isn't just about them, it's about your peace. You don't need their validation to do what's right. You don't need their applause to walk in excellence. What you sow, you will always reap. And when you sow grace, you reap grace. When you sow integrity, you reap favor. When you sow excellence, you reap elevation. Sometimes the people who mistreat you the most are the ones who need your light the most. They're not responding from wholeness, they're reacting from wounds. And when you choose to rise above it, you're showing them a better way. You're becoming the example. You're breaking cycles. You're planting seeds that might not bloom today, but one day they'll look back and say, that person showed me something different. They didn't respond how I expected. They didn't repay wrong for wrong. Excellence isn't just about what you do, it's about the spirit you carry. You can be excellent in the way you speak, the way you listen, the way you show up, the way you stay calm when others are chaotic. You can be excellent in the way you serve, in the way you forgive, in the way you love. And here's the beauty. When you respond with excellence, you protect your peace. You don't walk around carrying bitterness. You don't have to replay the conversation 100 times. You don't have to prove anything. You've already won the battle because you didn't let it change you. You might be thinking, but what if they never change? What if they keep being difficult? That's not your responsibility. Your role isn't to control them, it's to control yourself. To keep shining, to keep rising, to keep showing up with excellence. And when you do, something powerful happens. You rise above the drama, of the offense, above the noise. You move into a higher place where favor flows and peace abides. Excellence will cost you something. It costs pride. It costs ego. It costs the desire to get even. But what you gain in return is far greater peace, purpose, elevation, joy. And the best part, you sleep at night knowing you stay true to who you are. So the next time someone disrespects you, take a breath and remind yourself, I'm not going to lower myself. I know who I am. I know what I carry. I'm going to respond with excellence, even if they don't. The next time someone takes you for granted, keep serving with joy. Keep showing up with a smile. Not because they deserve it, but because you're building a life you can be proud of. You may not always see the results right away, but keep doing the right thing. Keep showing up with excellence. In time, you'll look back and see how those small choices shaped your life. They built your character. They elevated your reputation. They attracted blessings you didn't even see coming. And you'll realize it wasn't the applause. It wasn't the recognition. It wasn't how others treated you. It was how you responded that made the difference. Because when you respond with excellence, even when others don't, you rise. Your words are powerful. They carry life or death, hope or despair, faith or fear. What you speak over your life matters more than you know. It's not just about what's happening around you. It's about what's coming out of your mouth. You can be in the middle of a storm, but if you keep speaking peace, you'll rise above it. You can be facing a mountain, but if you keep speaking strength, that mountain won't stop you. So many people go through life declaring defeat. Nothing ever works out for me. I'll never get well. I'm always overlooked. This is just my luck. They're planting seeds with their words. And then they wonder why they're not seeing change. But here's the truth. If you want to see victory in your life, you've got to speak victory. You've got to declare what you want to see, not what you feel in the moment. You may feel discouraged, but speak encouragement. You may feel weak, but say, I am strong. You may not see the way, but speak like the way is already being made. Don't let your words agree with the problem. Let them agree with the promise. What you speak sets the direction of your life. It's like steering a ship. If you constantly talk about how bad it is, how unfair life has been, how you'll never break free, you're steering yourself deeper into those very things. But when you speak victory, you're pointing your life toward breakthrough, toward favor, toward restoration. Your words are like prophecy over your own future. You might say, but I don't feel victorious. That's okay. Victory doesn't start with feelings, it starts with faith. It starts with what you choose to believe, even when everything around you says otherwise. Don't wait until everything turns around before you start speaking right. Start speaking right now, right in the middle of the difficulty. You may be in a tough season, but you don't have to speak defeat. You can say, this may be hard, but I know it's not the end. I may be pressed, but I'm not crushed. I may have been knocked down, but I'm not staying down. Every time you choose to speak life in the middle of the struggle, you are pushing back darkness. You are strengthening your spirit. You are opening the door for something better to happen. There's a reason why negativity is so tempting. It feels real. It feels honest. But just because it's true right now doesn't mean it has to stay that way. Yes, the bank account might be low. Yes, the doctor's report might be negative. Yes, the relationship may be struggling. But when you speak defeat, you're giving it more power. When you speak victory, you're putting your faith into action. You're inviting the supernatural into your natural situation. What would happen if you started declaring every day, something good is coming my way? What would happen if you said, I may not see it, but I know the answer is on the way? That kind of language changes the atmosphere. It lifts you, it builds you. It positions you for breakthrough. Some people think being positive is denying reality, but that's not it at all. You're not denying the facts, you're just choosing not to let the facts have the final say. You're choosing to believe that there's more happening than what you can see. That there's a bigger plan at work. That the struggle is not your story, it's just a chapter. And better pages are ahead. When you speak victory, it doesn't just impact you, it impacts others too. People are watching how you handle life. They see how you respond to disappointment. They hear the words you say when you're under pressure. When you choose to speak faith, even in the fire, you're planting seeds in them as well. You're showing them that there's another way to live, one that doesn't crumble under pressure, one that stands firm and hopeful even when things look uncertain. You might be going through a long season. Maybe the healing hasn't come. Maybe the breakthrough is taking longer than you thought. That's when it's more important than ever to guard your words. Don't let frustration become your confession. Don't let delay become your declaration. Keep speaking life. Keep speaking hope. Keep saying what you want to see, not just what you're experiencing. God responds to faith, not fear. He responds to praise, not panic. When you speak victory, you're aligning yourself with His promises. You're saying, I trust you, even when I don't understand. I believe in what you said, even when I haven't seen it yet. Even in Scripture, when people faced impossible odds, it was their words that shifted the outcome. David didn't go into battle talking about how big Goliath was. He didn't say, wow, look at him, I don't stand a chance. No, he said, you come at me with sword and spear, but I come at you in the name of the Lord. His victory started with his voice. Before the stone ever hit Goliath, David had already won the battle with what he declared. You have that same power. You may not have a giant in front of you, but you've got a challenge. You've got something that feels bigger than you. It may be finances, your health, your career, your family, but don't shrink back and start speaking defeat. Rise up and speak victory. Say, I will come through this. I will see restoration. I will be better on the other side. And here's something powerful. The more you speak victory, the more your mind starts to align with it. Your heart begins to believe it. Your emotions start to catch up. And eventually your actions begin to reflect it. What started as just a few words becomes your new mindset. And that mindset becomes your new reality. Today, make the decision to watch your words. Let your mouth be filled with faith, not frustration. Let your voice declare peace, not panic. Let your speech reflect the outcome you're believing for, not the problem you're walking through. Because when you speak victory, you're not just describing your life, you're shaping it. You're not just reacting, you're creating. You're sending your words ahead of you to prepare the way. So lift your head, square your shoulders, and declare with confidence, I am moving forward. My best days are ahead. I am strong, I am favored, and I am walking in victory. My friend, life will always give you opportunities to react in frustration, to speak defeat, to let emotions take over, to hold onto offense, or to settle for fear. But you were never created to live beneath your potential. You were created to rise above, to walk in peace, to choose faith, to speak victory, and to respond with excellence even when no one else does. How you respond doesn't just affect the moment, it shapes your future. Your response determines your direction. It's not what happens to you that defines you, it's how you choose to respond. You can't control every circumstance, but you can control your attitude, your words, your choices. And when you decide to respond with wisdom, with faith, with peace, and with grace, you're setting yourself up for favor, for growth, for breakthrough. Don't react out of emotion, respond out of who you are. You are strong. You are wise. You are chosen. And when others come at you with negativity, respond with calm. When fear tries to settle in, respond with faith. When offense knocks at the door, let peace answer. When you feel discouraged, respond with the language of victory. This is your time to rise higher. This is your moment to respond the right way, not because the situation is easy, but because you are ready. Ready to step into your calling, ready to break cycles, ready to create a future with peace, favor, and strength. So walk out of here today with a new mindset. Choose to be unshakable in storms, calm in chaos, hopeful in hardship. You don't have to live reacting to everything that comes your way. You have the power to respond with faith, with peace, with excellence, and with victory. The right response will lead you to the right result. And when you respond the right way, there's no limit to what you can become.